Alright, swinging a hammer, cause I'm a construction guy, and I'm building stuff. Oh, building. Oh, I love building. Yeah. Oh, what's this? I'm getting a phone call here. Oh, it's the boss. Hey, boss, what's going on? You need me to stop building? Right now? How's the painter supposed to start? You want me to install the finished product from the painter after he's done painting. It's called subassembly. Where did you hear about this? What's a Warhammer? Why do you got 40,000 of them? Alright, so you probably heard from Cousin Vinny a little bit about what subassembly is. But let's say a little bit more. Subassembly is the process of leaving a model unfinished. You build it to a certain point, then you paint it entirely before you put it back together. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's a couple reasons. Reason one might be that you want to finish the model completely before you put it on a complete base. Usually you do that for bases that are a little bit more complicated and better looking, like these ones. Yeah. It also helps prevent overspray. Let's say you're using an airbrush and you need to paint 2 panels. If those panels are together, it's really hard to paint one exclusively one color without getting a little bit on the other panel. So having them separate while you paint each one makes them completely solid in color before you put them together. Subassembly can also help you maximize access to the model. This means that you can paint that space behind the bolt gun, or paint the under part of the arms if you need to get in there, the inside of the cockpit, the inside of the vehicle itself if you're into that sort of thing. If you want to get all those fine details, subassembly might help you get there. When we're subassembling our models, it's important to keep in mind that we're temporarily putting them together before we paint them. Now there's a couple ways I like to do that. The first way is poster tack. You knead it up into a neat little ball, you stick the component on top of it, and then stick that to whatever you want. Now you've got yourself a working component that you can paint and then tear away when you want. There's no danger to ruining anything. Poster tack is very easy to peel away, but keep in mind that it does peel away. It never hardens like green stuff or super glue. I really like using poster tack because it's reusable, which saves you money in the long run. Another thing you can use is green stuff. It works pretty much like poster tack in that you knead it up and then you put the component on top of the green stuff and then put the green stuff where you want it. The difference is that green stuff gets hard. Okay. The difference is green stuff hardens, so you have to be more careful when you remove the model once it's complete. You can also use super glue to temporarily connect your models to a base. Use a very small amount. You don't need to glue it there forever. And in the end, you do still need to separate it. Once you're done with the model, you can twist it off or use a hobby knife to slice it off. Just be careful because there is a small risk that you tweak or break some portion of the model. There's also pinning the models, which is basically drilling a hole in the model and then putting a wire or rod in that hole to hold it in place. You shouldn't need glue because it should be snug, but if you find that it's loose, add a little bit of super glue so at the end you can still twist it off without breaking the model. Also, there's alligator clips. You can learn more about them in this video here. I like to use these to hold the back of a component that is not exposed on a finished model. That's like the Lehman Rust guns you see here. Last on this list is magnets. How do they work? If you're magnetizing some weapons or arms for your miniatures, you'll find that it's really easy to use those magnets to slap those onto a piece of steel and paint them from there. Once that's done, you can just put it back onto the magnetized model. You can see here that I like to use a coffee can to hold my models in place before I start painting. Okay, so that's how we keep things in place, but what do we keep them attached to? You already saw me using a normal base, and that's a great solution. They have the added benefit of working with the Citadel model holders that you might already own. If you've ran out of miniature bases, you can use bottle caps. I like these big blue ones that come from Nesquik bottles. They give me something to hold on to while I'm painting the miniature. If you've pinned your models, you can use something like a cork stopper that's soft and just insert that rod or wire into the cork stopper. Cork can be a little bit lightweight, so if you're using a larger component, you might consider putting that cork and gluing it onto a piece of wood. That way it doesn't tip over so easily. You can also pin parts of a model to itself. As you can see here, I'm pinning these drill arms to the vehicle. This helps me make sure everything has the same color gradient throughout. If you have a lot of small items that you're gonna paint all the same anyways, you might consider a big piece of cardboard that you attach them to. This has the added benefit of you being able to label what parts are which in case it's hard to tell the difference. If you've got some longer components, like these tank turrets, you might consider some Jenga blocks or some Lego blocks to keep them from tipping over while you're painting them. Working with Lego bricks is a really good idea. You can just add more blocks if you want the model to sit higher on the base so you can see more of the components underneath, like I'm doing on this Colossus Bombard because I'm trying to see this prow shovel type thing that hangs off underneath the model. You can also build out sideways from the base to keep it more stable from tipping over after you've built it up. You might have to combine different elements that we're covering here. On this subassembly, I have a drill head that I've pinned to the side of this wooden block, and then I green tacked on both sides here to keep it from wobbling on that pin. I took that block and then I glued it to this wooden one so it didn't tip over while I was working with it. Doing all this really helps me move my miniatures around when I'm painting, specifically with an airbrush. It's important to me to keep track of the coverage being even. Moving it around helps me observe that it's all about the same. If I didn't have this subassembly bases like I have, I might smudge or ruin the paint job as I'm laying it down. Hopefully you guys learned some great techniques here about how to subassemble your models. And if you excuse me, I have to text my cousin Vinny.
Hey, it's me, Cousin Vinny again. And now I don't know much about building or painting miniatures, but I do know that my cousin Garrett and his pal Daniel make a new video every Friday. So make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can see new tips and tricks every week. Also, check out the Instagram page. They got tips and tricks there that they don't include in the videos. They also got hobby updates nearly every day. Oh, what's this? I got a text message. It's from Cousin Garrett. It says, "That's it for now, guys. We'll see you next time." What the hell's that supposed to mean?
I think we got it. We don't got it.